Hello there, this is Stormdog, film fan who has seen too many Hong Kong films, and amateur historian. My work is hidden behind numerous government NDAs, and you have no way to prove I'm making that up. Today I'd like to talk about Joshua Tree, also known as Army of One in some markets. It's a 1993 Dolph Lundgren action movie. Wellman Santee, Dolph Lundgren's character here, is a former race car driver whose livelihood is transporting exotic stolen supercars, and he is involved with his partner Eddie in a shootout resulting in the deaths of his friend and a highway cop, in which he and his friend are set up. Santee is framed for the cop's murder and jailed in a maximum security prison. A few months later, though, Santee breaks out after narrowly escaping an attempt on his life. He reaches a local diner where he steals a car, abducts the owner, Rita, played by Christian Alfonso, and flees, completely unaware that his hostage is a deputy sheriff. A massive manhunt ensues, spearheaded by Lieutenant Severance, played by George Siegel, a tough, obsessive cop who knows Santee from his past. What a great name, Lieutenant Severance. We need more stuff like that in action movies. Santee leads the detective and his men on a dramatic high-speed chase from the desert wilderness to the streets of downtown Los Angeles. Santee's out to clear his name, and when it comes to getting even, he's taking revenge into overdrive. Handcuffed together at one point in a tense, chemistry-filled alliance, Santee and Rita evade relentless pursuit from law enforcement, as well as Severance's henchmen, leading to explosive shootouts, high-speed chases, and gritty desert standoffs. As betrayals unravel and bullets fly, the unlikely duo must decide whether to trust each other in a brutal fight for survival and justice. The film blends classic Western influences with 90s action tropes, featuring intense stunt work and homages to films like The Getaway and John Woo's stylish gunfights, all set against the stark beauty of Joshua Tree National Park. John Woo, the legendary Hong Kong director known for his balletic gunfights in films like The Killer and Hard Boiled, as well as channel favorite A Better Tomorrow, attended the premiere of Joshua Tree. The film's warehouse shootout sequence was a clear homage to Woo's heroic bloodshed style, featuring dual-wielded pistols, slow-motion dives, and stylized violence. This left director Vic Armstrong, a longtime stunt coordinator who had worked on several James Bond films, mortified, as he felt the scene was too derivative. Armstrong reportedly approached Woo with an apology, saying something to the effect of, "Sorry, John, for copying you." Woo, gracious and good-humored, replied, "Don't worry about it, Vic. I've been stealing your ideas for years." Armstrong had contributed stunts to Hollywood projects that influenced action cinema globally, including elements Woo admired. It's a testament to how Woo's influence permeated 90s American action films, turning potential embarrassment into a badge of honor for Joshua Tree. I would love to see more directors borrowing from Woo's style, but no doubt that time has passed. As long as I'm on the subject of the director, Vic Armstrong, he is a legendary British stuntman, coordinator, second unit director, and filmmaker, widely regarded as one of the most influential figures in action cinema. Recognized by the Guinness Book of World Records as the world's most prolific stunt double, his career spans over 5 decades, blending daring physical feats with innovative direction. He has been called the stunt wizard of Hollywood, having shaped iconic sequences in franchises like James Bond, Indiana Jones, and Superman. Born Victor Monroe Armstrong on October 5, 1946 in Farnham Common, Buckinghamshire, England, he left school at 14 to train as a jockey under his father, hoping to ride in point-to-point races. He quickly outgrew the role due to his height, but discovered his passion for film through stuntman Jimmy Lodge, who got him a job handling horses on the '66 spy thriller Arabesque. I think I've seen that movie twice, and it still has not stuck with me. Maybe that's just brain damage. This sparked a lifelong career in stunts where Vic honed his skills in horsemanship, wire work, and high-risk action. He doubled as a stunt performer in You Only Live Twice, sliding down a rope while firing a machine gun. I recently did a video on that one, and it will undoubtedly solve all your mental health problems. He doubled for stars like Christopher Reeve in Superman and the second Superman, as well as Timothy Dalton in Flash Gordon. He became Harrison Ford's primary stunt double for the Indiana Jones original trilogy, performing grueling feats like the boulder chase and the tank sequence. He also contributed to Star Wars Return of the Jedi and Bond films like Never Say Never Again, where he rode a horse plunging off a castle wall into the ocean. That's kind of how I feel about that film, but I think I need to give it a second chance. He directed the explosive opening dream sequence in Terminator 2. He served as stunt coordinator and second unit director on hits like Goldeneye, the excellent Bond film, The Mummy, something we'll probably never get more of, War of the Worlds, a skillfully done take on the classic story, and I Am Legend, a less skillful take on a different classic story that ends up not understanding where its title comes from. This film, though, was his feature directorial debut. I talked about him recently in my video review of Black Dog, and dealt more with his recent film work, which has not been so good for him. Our lead, Dolph Lundgren, born Hans Lundgren, is a Swedish actor, martial artist, chemical engineer, and action star whose 6'5" frame, chiseled physique, and intellectual background made him an unlikely yet enduring action icon. He's best known for portraying the hulking Soviet boxer Ivan Drago in the fourth Rocky, and he transitioned from real-life elite to Hollywood villain, then leading man, director, and late-career character actor. He was born in 1957 in Stockholm, Sweden. He grew up in a strict academic household. His father was an engineer and, according to Lundgren, abusive, which Lundgren later cited as motivation to prove himself. He is a third-degree black belt in Kyokushin karate. He completed mandatory Swedish Marine Corps service, specializing in Coastal Ranger Commando training. He worked as a bouncer in New York City and Sydney. Somehow around this time, ended up dating Grace Jones and even appeared in one of her music videos. His first role as Drago, and he trained 6 hours a day with Stallone, gaining 15 pounds of muscle. Somewhere in filming, Stallone was hospitalized for 8 days after a chest punch from Lundgren. Before Joshua Tree, he had already cemented his status as an action star, with hero and villain roles, playing He-Man in Masters of the Universe, the villain in Universal Soldier, did the first big screen vision of The Punisher, starred opposite Brandon Lee in Big Showdown in Little Tokyo, and a lot of other great roles. In the mid to late 90s, he ended up making almost all direct-to-video films, but still a lot of fun stuff, and that has basically continued to this day. He's recently been in the Expendables movies and the Aquaman films. He once said, "I never wanted to be just a muscle guy, I wanted to be an actor who could do action, but with a brain." He brings excellent physicality to this film, and I like his earnestness and on-screen presence. Christian Alfonso plays the love interest, as well as kind of fulfilling a sidekick role. Alfonso is an American actress, former figure skater, and fashion model, celebrated for her enduring presence in daytime television and her graceful transition from athletic pursuits to the spotlight. At only 5'4", with striking green eyes and dark brown hair, she's embodied elegance on and off screen, particularly as the resilient Hope Williams Brady on Days of Our Lives, a role that spanned over 3 decades and made her a soap opera legend. At just 13, she claimed a gold medal at the Junior Olympic Figure Skating Championships, positioning her as a rising star. Tragically, a tobogganing accident severely injured her leg, ending her skating dreams and redirected her energy to modeling. By age 15, she was featured on covers of over 30 international magazines, such as Vogue, Harper's Bazaar, and 17. George Segal plays one of the main bad guys. I first talked about him in my video for the Burt Reynolds movie Stick, and he comes up from time to time here on the channel. He's also in the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, a great historical Roger Corman gangster movie, and the original Fun with Dick and Jane. He ended up with a long TV role on Just Shoot Me as the magazine's boss, as well as one of the grandpas on The Goldbergs. He's also had an accomplished music career. He once said, "I never wanted to be a star. I just wanted to be a working actor who could pay the rent and play banjo on the weekends." He passed away March 23, 2021. The writer of the film, Stephen Pressfield, also wrote for Freejack, a very fun dystopian movie with a great ending, and Above the Law, back when Steven Seagal movies were really good. He also wrote the novel that The Legend of Bagger Vance was based on. In 1966, he joined the U.S. Marine Corps, serving as an infantryman. Later, he was an advertising copywriter, school teacher, tractor-trailer driver, bartender, oilfield roustabout, attendant in a mental hospital, a fruit picker in Washington State, and eventually a screenwriter. His struggles to make a living as an author, including the period when he was homeless and living on the back of his car, are detailed in his 2002 book, The War of Art. He also wrote an incredible novel, Gates of Fire, about the 300 Spartans at Thermopylae, and it is an incredible read that every man should get a copy of. It is one of the best historical novels I have ever read, and there is a copy of it sitting next to me right now. If you like traditional masculinity, get a paperback copy. It is taught at the U.S. Military Academy, the United States Naval Academy, and the Marine Corps Basic School at Quantico. Honestly, if you're a red-blooded dude, anything with his name on the cover is worth it. I want to read his Tides of War next. If you're familiar with him, drop a comment and let me know how strong your game is. He also did uncredited script revisions on the original Total Recall and Hard to Kill. Insane the influence he had in late 80s and 90s action movies. The film hit theaters internationally as Joshua Tree in 1993, but the US distributor Live Entertainment retitled it as Army of One for VHS and Laserdisc in '94 to dodge confusion with, at the time, U2's blockbuster 1987 album, The Joshua Tree. It wasn't released stateside under its original name, or in the correct widescreen aspect ratio, until Shout Factory's Blu-ray and DVD combo dropped in February 2013, nearly 20 years later. Much of the movie was shot in Los Angeles, Lone Pine, Agua Dulce, and Joshua Tree National Park, echoing the stark California locales of classic westerns. In the aforementioned garage warehouse shootout, Lundgren's character torches a goon with a paint sprayer. Dolph, with filming, was so stunned by the sight of the stuntman, Andy Armstrong, the director's brother, engulfed in real flames that he froze mid-scene, extending the shot and accidentally prolonging Andy's burns. It was kept as a throw-it-in moment for added tension. Lundgren's Santee in that film racks up probably a good 40 kills in under 10 minutes during the warehouse finale, blasting endless waves of Asian heavies with an ever-jamming shotgun and his pistols. It's pure 90s excess. Jo Sun, South Korean-born American former actor, mixed martial artist, kickboxer, and professional wrestler, has a small part in these scenes, and it is one of his early film credits. At 5'4", and often weighing around 240 pounds, Sun cut an imposing, compact figure on screen and in the ring, leveraging his martial arts background for tough guy roles in low-budget action films. He developed an interest in combat sports early, training in kickboxing and inventing his own hybrid style, Jo Sun Do, a mixture of karate, wrestling, and street fighting. He worked a lot of odd jobs, including as a bouncer before breaking into entertainment. All his professional fights seem to be losses, and he seems to have been included in WCW as a jobber, as basically just a henchman. His in-ring persona leaned into his aggressive, unpredictable style, but injuries and losses sidelined him by the early 2000s. His movie roles were all as henchmen. Those of you who are familiar with him know where this is going. Son's off-screen life took a dark turn, leading to multiple arrests and life imprisonment. His crimes, uncovered via DNA from a 2002 vandalism plea, paint a picture of escalating violence. Unbeknownst to anyone else, on Christmas Eve 1990, at age 20, Son and his accomplice, Santiago Gaitan, abducted a 19-year-old Jane Doe, an unnamed woman walking her dog in Huntington Beach, California. They beat her, pistol-whipped her, forced her into their car, and subjected her to hours of the worst extensive assault possible and threats of murder. She escaped naked. Evidence was collected, but the case went cold. In 2002, he kicked in a roommate's car door, pleaded guilty to felony vandalism, submitting DNA as part of the deal. This DNA matched the 1990 assault, leading to his arrest on October 7th, while already in custody for probation violation. Initially charged with the criminal R-word, can't really say that here, kidnapping and torture, Gaitan, his accomplice as well, was arrested, although in 2009, and pleaded guilty to sex crimes and got over 17 years. Son himself was sentenced to 7 years to life in California State Prison. At Wasco State Prison, Son beat his cellmate Michael Graham to death using kicks and punches, according to authorities, in his trademark Joe Son Doe style. For this, he was convicted of voluntary manslaughter and added 27 years to his sentence. As of 2025, he was incarcerated at High Desert State Prison. Before all this came to light, he was the subject of a viral video and a meme format. Here in this film, his role is nothing significant, just a weird bit of trivia. At one point in the film, Santee watches High Sierra from 1941 on a Motel TV, with Rita comparing him to Humphrey Bogart's doomed anti-hero in that film. The film shares Alabama Hills shooting locations with that classic movie, but it also riffs on The Getaway from '72, the grocery store shootout, the bus station cop pileup, as well as Wu's warehouse gun ballet scene. The film's flashy Ferrari F40 and Lamborghini Countach were actually total fakes, kit cars slapped together on cheap Pontiac Fiero chassis. You can spot the giveaway in interior and profile shots, with the F40's comically short wheelbase. Engine roars were dubbed in post to give it some more authenticity. The film originally had a different, more subdued ending, and the producers called for a new one to be shot with more action, as well as trimming the runtime. There seems to be no copy of that original cut left. The director said the original ending was more about the journey and less about the body count, but the studio said, "This is Dolph Lundgren, give us a war." The Laserdisc version has an alternate final fight footage with a longer, more brutal beatdown of the bad guy Severance that is not in the theatrical cut. I believe the Shout Factory Blu-ray includes this. The film cost approximately somewhere around 5 to 7 million American and had a worldwide gross of 4,225,000, but this may have gone up to 10 to 15 million if we count home video and rental sales, which is what they were shooting for. Live Entertainment was the company behind its production. As a mid-tier player in the 1990s home video boom, the company specialized in action movies like this one, blending distribution with selective production to capitalize on stars like Lundgren. It was part of a larger evolution in indie film financing, but its story is marked by rapid growth, scandals, and eventual rebranding. It can be traced all the way back to 1981 as Family Home Entertainment (FHE), a small video label focused on family-friendly content, whose logo is going to bring up some core memories for my older viewers. By '83, it rebranded to International Video Entertainment under Noel C. Bloom's NCB Entertainment Group and expanded into non-family releases alongside labels like Caballero Home Video. In '88, IVE merged with Lieberman Enterprises, a video wholesaler, to form our Live Entertainment Inc., headquartered in Van Nuys, California. For its film production around this time, it often partnered with Carolco, a partnership that led to debt and eventually them being bought out. They actually financed Reservoir Dogs. They produced, or at least co-produced, Light Sleeper with Willem Dafoe, the heist movie Killing Zoe, Little Odessa with Tim Roth, and the less popular Lundgren movie Pentathlon, as well as the Chuck Norris buddy cop with the canine movie Top Dog. The company went through its share of hardships, such as in 1989 the co-founder Jose Menendez and his wife Kitty were infamously murdered by their sons Lyle and Eric in Beverly Hills, a tabloid sensation that rocked Hollywood. Live's executive team navigated the fallout with the company issuing a statement of resilience. Profits dipped temporarily, but Live rebounded stronger from it. They eventually rebranded as Artisan Entertainment and funded the Blair Witch Project. In 2003, they were acquired by Lionsgate, allowing this movie to stream free on Tubi, where you could watch it at time of writing. At its peak, Live Entertainment controlled 10% of the US video rentals, but scandals and technology shifts going to DVD, going to streaming, hastened its end. The film has great gunfights and destruction, practically done, as well as great stunt driving, even if some of the cars are mocked up. The locations are beautiful and fittingly gritty. I do feel like some moments were jumps in the plot, but the overall sense of the characters and the action spectacle helps gloss over this. The title didn't make a whole lot of sense till later in the film, and I'm not sure it's the most gripping title. I thought for a bit it was going to be the main character's name, but no, obviously it's not. I like the Bogart references, and I'm a sucker for the Woo influence. The opening isn't bombastic action, but the rest makes up for it. It still has a good finale, but the most memorable part is the warehouse shootout. I like the music as well. It was done by Joel Goldsmith, son of Jerry Goldsmith. He also worked on Stargate SG-1 and Star Trek Voyager. It's a very enjoyable 90s action movie and an underrated Lundgren movie, maybe one of the last of his greats. I found it to be highly enjoyable, and it's great to see Lundgren so young. If you want to see him in a heroic role, this is a great one. And want to see an American take on John Woo? Check it out. It's a certified DTV classic. Until next time, this has been Stormdog.
I just need an hour of sleep, then we'll go. Leave it on.
He's your hero, isn't he? The outlaw who goes down with all guns blazing. Why do you want to die? You think it's romantic?